Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how you can change the XML files on your DayZ private custom server so that you can get the coloured variant of the M4A1, the AK101, the AK74, the AKS74U and the Mosin. Also, assault rifles will always spawn in with a magazine and Mosins will always spawn in with a scope, and we're going to also adjust the quantities and where they spawn as well. I've previously done a video about this, I think back in early 2020 or late 2019. This is a more up-to-date version where I cover some of the details in a little bit more depth, and plus don't make the same mistakes as I made in the old one. So what used to happen in DayZ pre-0.63 was that if you took your M4A1 or your AK or your Mosin and you combined it with spray paints, you would get the coloured weapons variants, which was pretty cool. Funny enough, you can spawn spray paints into the game now, but they don't actually work. They don't actually do anything. So what I've done is, if you go to my GitHub repository, I'll put a link in the description down below, and you go into repositories here, and then go into DayZ coloured weapon variants. That will take you to this one. Now you can download the code if you want. You can download it as a zip file and unzip it, or you can just click on the code here, and we've got all the snippets. In this video I'm going to be walking you through how to do this. Now don't just install this file on your server, okay, because there's writing in this. It won't work. You need to copy and paste the bits out of it. So what you need to do is go over to your server provider, using Nitrado as an example in this case. Remember, this will work for Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Go to the web interface of the particular server you are working on, and then go to the file browser. It's under Tools on Nitrado, and then go into the missions folder. Now if you're on PC, you've got to dig down a bit to get to the missions folder, and you'll either see Chernerus Plus or Enoch. Enoch is Livonia, or if you're on a PC server and you've added some custom mission files, you know, you'll see the other ones there as well, the Malsk, stuff like that. But you go into here, and there's two files that we want to be working on. There's cfgspawnabletypes and types. So if you go into the DB folder, go down to types here, and you want to click the download button, and you want to download that to your local PC, or you can stop your server, and then you could click on it and edit it on the server. Don't particularly recommend doing it that way if you can avoid it, because if you make a mistake it can be difficult to spot it sometimes. If you do it like that, make sure you copy the file first using the copy function, and then rename it to original so that you've got a backup that you can go to. So download types, and then the other one you want to download is the CFG spawnable types, which is, if I can see it, spawn point, there it is, CFG spawnable types, that one there. So you want to download that. Download them to your local laptop or computer, CFG spawnable types and types. And what you want to do is you want to make backups of those. So make copies of those so that if you make a mistake, you can go back and you can change them. And then you want to open those up in your favorite text editor. Could be Notepad. I highly recommend Notepad++. It's like a souped up version of Notepad. It does all this lovely color coding. It enables you to see mistakes a lot better. So once you've got these two files opened up, you can then go back to the GitHub repository. And the way that this works is that there's two halves to this document. There's the types.xml edits, which are at the top, and then once you've finished those, there's the CFG spawnable types.xml edits, and you have to do both in order to get all of this to work, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll get guns spawning in, but they won't spawn in with the bits on, and it's quite important, you know, if you want the bits. So let's take a look. So if we start off with the M4A1, what I've done is I've increased the M4A1 nominal value up to 20, so you'll have 20 spawning in, and increased the minimum to 17. I've taken the cargo counting hoarder flags off, so the guns are only ever counted in map. This is a really easy way to increase the number of M4s or any item on your server because normally what happens if someone's got one of these in their bag or if they've got it in their base, the game will still count that towards the total. This way it doesn't. So they're always respawning. As soon as someone takes an M4, someone takes one. Now it means you will end up with lots and lots of M4s, you know. But if you've got a PvP server or you just want lots of guns, it's a good way of doing it. What we've also done is the usage name normally is military, but we've also added a usage name of police, so you'll find M4s in police stations as well and around police stations. And we've also added a value name of tier 2 as well, so that means they'll spawn closer to the coast. So normally M4s are further to the northwest of Chernobyl, but by adding tier 2 they're going to be spawning in military locations and police stations a little bit closer to the coast. Not on the coast, but a little bit closer to the coast, so they're going to be easier to find for people. And then for the M4A1 black, done the same thing, and then the M4A1 green. So what you need to do is go back to your notepad and just find M4A1. Okay, like that. And you'll see green, black and normal. See all of that? Ooh. So that's the vanilla file. So all we have to do now, if we go back to this file, if we just copy all of this, make sure you get everything right down to the last type. If we just copy that, then paste that on top of there, and just go through and just double check. What you're looking for always is things like where you might have done the copy and missed like the opening and closing brackets. It's incredibly easy to miss them. And then just do a sense check. Just look down. Does it look okay? M4A1 black ends in the type. M4A1 green ends in the type. So that's the M4A1 in types. However, with the guns, because they spawn in with things, you also need to adjust the spawnable types as well. So if we go back to the GitHub, if we scroll down, spawnable types. Here we've got the spawnable types. So what this bit of the file does, what the spawnable types does, it says when an M4A1 spawns in, spawn it with the buttstock, the plastic handle guard, the carry handle optic, and what I've done is I've increased the attachment chance of the magazine to 1 for both, so they'll always spawn in. Then if we scroll down and we have a look at the black ones, what I've done the same, but we've now got the black buttstock, the black handguard, and the magazine. Now there isn't a black carry handle optic, so what I've done is for the black and the green, I've changed it to the ACOG optic, which is that cool optic that, although it's illuminated, doesn't need a battery. And so the black and the green M4, and in fact, yeah, so that's for those. So if we kind of highlight that like so, and then if we go back to our notepad and we go to spawnable types and we now search for M4A1, what you should find is there is only one entry for the M4A1 in the spawnable types, you see, and that's because the M4A1 green and the M4A1 black aren't meant to spawn into the vanilla game. So if we didn't add these in, I think the guns would spawn in, but they would just spawn in with just the middle bit of the gun, you know, and there would be no, they would have the barrel, but they wouldn't have the buttstock and stuff. So what you would also find is the attachments wouldn't spawn in for them either, the coloured attachments. But by doing this, it just makes things more neat. So what we can do is if we just highlight all of that again, so from type to type. So that's the opening argument for type, and that's the closing one. If we then go back here, and then we just copy that, go back to Notepad, and we just paste that on top. And then we just go back. You can get rid of these spaces if you like, so we'll have to tidy it up a bit. So there we go. So there's our M4A1. We can see that we've increased the mag chance to 1.0. There's the M4A1 black, opening, closing type. There's the M4A1 green. So now if we were to save these files, save and save, and then we were to go back to our server and upload the saved version, CFG spawnable types, into the same folder that's meant to go in, and upload the types file into the DB folder, what you'd find is there would be coloured versions of M4A1s would start to spawn in on your server. But that's not all that this gives you, because we've got the other ones to look at as well. So if we go back to the top, if you scroll down, you've got the M4A1, and then we've got the AK101. So what I've done with the AK101, I've added the black and the green variants. There's 10 of each of them, because if you add all of these guns, all of a sudden you end up with it's very easy to end up with an awful lot of assault rifles hanging around. I mean too many. You know, you'll go into a military base, you know, or a military tent, and you'll find an M4 or an AK in every single tent, and that might seem cool to start off with, but pretty soon you're like, well, actually, I've got 15 M4s back at my base. You know, can we please have something else spawning in? You know, some gear or something like that. So be careful with this. If you do notice that things are getting a little bit out of hand on your server with just weapons everywhere, roll it back. Roll it back. So with the AK101, we've got the black and the green variants. I've also added it to military tier 3 as well. So normally AK101s, they're just in tier 4, top left hand corner, top northwest corner of Chernerus. But by tier 3, you're going to find them a little bit closer to the centre of the map. And again, we've removed the storage flags as well, so they're only counted in the map. So to put the AK101 changes in, you go to Notepad, go to types first, do Control F, AK101, and then, so here we go. So as you can see, the AK101 starts with the normal one, and then there's the black and there's the green. Because it's interesting, because look, you can see that in the vanilla files you only get 5 AK101s. The AK101 black and the AK101 green are there, they're listed, but their nominal is 0. And their minimum is 0 as well. But more importantly as well, they've got a category of weapons, but they haven't got a usage value. And that's the mistake I made in my last video. I didn't remind people you need to add a usage value as well, so the game knows where to spawn them. So now we've highlighted that, what we can do is we can go back to here, and if we just highlight all of the AK101 stuff, just copy that, paste that, and we can just again just go through and just do a sense check. Just right, so nominal is 10, minimum is 8, counting map. Never get rid of, never make all of these 0, because then the guns would just spawn and spawn and spawn and spawn and spawn and spawn, and you end up with thousands of them and probably crash the server. Weapons military tier 4, tier 3, AK10 back, 101 black. Nominal is 10, minimum is 8. Yeah, that's all right. You know, we're looking for the closing tags. We're making sure they're all there. Right, so that's good. So that's the first part. So next we need to do the CFG spawnable types part. So if we go back to here and scroll down to the bottom. So there's the AK101. So with the AK101, you've got the AK101, the AK101 black, and the AK101 green. What I've done is I've changed it so that it will always spawn in with a mag, and then if you go down to the coloured variants, they'll spawn in with, where there's a coloured variant available, there's a chance they'll spawn in with it. So the AK101 black, there's a chance it will spawn in with the black plastic buttstock and the black handguard, and the black, but it may spawn in with one of the other ones as well. Also with the green one, is it the green one? Yeah, with the green variants, and this goes for all of the AK variants, there's actually camo variants as well that you can have. They don't have a green variant for some of the attachments. So for example, for the wood buttstock for the AK101, it's the camo one. So I've changed it to the fact you've got a chance of it spawning in with the camo one there. So you can see, yeah, so there's a camo wooden handguard and a camo wooden buttstock that it might have again as well. So what we can do is if we highlight these again from the open, hope if I do all of them. There we go, all the way down there. Then if we go back to Notepad and we go to CFG spawnable types, and we search for AK101. There it is. So there's the AK101. Ooh, hold on. Where am I going? That's right. So again, you'll see that in the spawnable types, there's only reference to the AK101, not the green and the black variant, because they're not meant to spawn in. And we can see that you're not meant to. There's only a small chance that you'll get a mag. So we can go back to the file, make sure it's all copied, all highlighted. So we can just copy that. Go back to Notepad, paste that on top. Again, go back to the top. And we're just looking for mistakes where we've missed off copying the opening and closing bits. So it all seems alright. Attachment chance okay. AK101 black. AK101 green. So there we go. So that's all there as well. So again, you would save that. Go to your server. Upload in the DB folder. You'd upload the types. And then in the main missions folder, you'd upload the CFG spawnable types, and then you would restart your server, and that would work. And that's how you use this file. You may not want to do it like I've done, where you go through and edit the types and then edit the spawnable types. You want to do it a bit at a time. But what you do have to do, if I go to the right screen, there we go. You do have to do it like that. Don't just copy and paste everything. Okay, do it one gun at a time. So you've got the AK101 to do. Let's go back to the top. Then there's the AK74. So with the AK74, we went to 10 of each, black and green. Removed the storage flag. And what I did with the AK74, because I thought that's like the that's the really old assault rifle, isn't it? That's the first definitive Kalashnikov. I've added that to farms because I thought, well, that over the years, it may well have. There might be the odd war veteran or army veteran who bought their AK back, and kept it in their farm. So people will be able to find AK74s in farms. And again, we've changed the flag so that it's only counted in the map. And then we have the AKS74U. Went to 10 of each. Again, we've added the black and the green. And what I did with the AKS74U, I added the usage name of villages. And this is just to spread them about a bit as well, because again, when you start adding a lot of assault rifles or guns in general, I think you need to spread them out so that although you're having more spawn into the map, they're spawning in more locations. So it makes them easier for people to find them, and that's good for a PvP server, but it also stops them clogging up your military locations as well. Then if we get down to the Mosin, this is the types edit for the Mosin, and basically I've added the green, the black and the camo variants. Now normally 70 Mosins spawn in on your vanilla servers, so you don't need 70 of the other ones. You want to maybe make these quite rare, so I've just gone for 10 of them. And then what we've done as well is we've gone down and I've said they'll spawn in the same place, so they'll spawn in towns and villages and hunting locations in tier 2 and tier 3. So the coloured variants will spawn in the same, again with a camo. One thing I didn't mention actually is this flag here. When you're doing this, if you're doing it yourself and you're not copying these files, you'll see DE loot. Sorry, crafted is the one. Sorry. Now normally that is set to 1. And what that means is that the Mosin green would normally be a crafted only item. So it would never actually spawn in when they had it spawning in. You would have to make it with the spray paint. So you have to make sure that that is 0. But I've done that for you already. So again, so you would copy all the Mosin files, copy them over the top in the types. And then in the spawnable types with the Mosin, it's probably the simplest one actually, because there's nothing to it. But what you'll see is that with the Mosin spawnable types edit, I've just changed the chance for the PSU scope optic. So the optic, they should always spawn in with an optic on. So there we go. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully I've explained a few of the little things that these names mean, and in your types.xml and spawnable types.xml. Remember, if you've got any questions about this, please put them in the comment section down below. I do add them to the list of videos I've got to do. As far as how long these weapons will take to spawn in, it depends on what you've got spawned in on your server already. You could do a fresh install, but obviously that will wipe everything, everybody's progression and stuff. I tend to recommend just do your edits, go to XML. Here we go. Sorry, when you've saved your file, go to xmlvalidation.com, load up the files to check for errors. Remember, in Spawnable Types 1, you get the errors with the army section, but in the notes, but don't worry about that one. And then you want to upload them to your, I would say just upload them to your server, maybe restart the server, and then just let it run, okay? And then with people on the server, the central loot economy will start to churn, and the older guns will start to disappear, and the newer guns will start to reappear. And then, depending on how active your server is, it will be sooner rather than later, maybe a couple of days. The way that the loot economy works in DayZ is that the game is, while people are on the server, the game is looking at the different areas of the map, and it's despawning some loot and spawning loot in, and it does it a chunk at a time. However, as soon as people leave the server goes to sleep, and it stops doing that. So if, for example, you were playing on your server by yourself and you did these mods and you didn't log back in again, nothing would happen. All the old guns would stay there. But while you're on the server, the central loot economy is working, and it'll be despawning stuff and spawning stuff in all over the map. So a busy server will have the guns appear faster than a slower server. Right, so there we go. Hopefully that's useful. If you found it useful, hit the like button. If you want to see more of the same, hit subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.